I'm going to be using Godot version 4.5, which you can get from their website at godotengine.org. If you're on Windows, make sure to not use the console version. When you open up Godot, you will first see the Projects menu. Here, you can open and create projects. Let's start by creating a new project. Alright, let's add a project name. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to call it Getting Started. Now, let's find a location to store our project folder. I'm going to select this folder called Godot Tutorial Projects under my Documents. Don't worry about the rest of the settings, we can change those later. Now just press Create. Now we are in the editor. This is where you're going to be developing your game. This is the viewport where you'll be moving around objects in your game. This is the inspector where you'll be editing nodes. This is the toolbar. This will allow you to change whether you're moving, rotating, or even scaling the object. This is the scene tree. For when you add nodes to your world, they will show up here. Nodes are, in other words, just objects. This is the file system. This shows the files inside your project folder, including textures, sounds, and even models. At the top of the editor, we have multiple buttons. On the left side, we can edit various parts of our project, and also we can edit parts of the editor itself. In the middle, we have various menus, including the 2D, 3D, and also our script editor, the game preview, and the asset lib, which allows us to add plugins to our project. On the right side, you could play, pause, or stop the game. At the bottom of the editor is where your output and debugger is. The debugger allows us to see certain errors about our code as the game runs. Before we start making our game, I would recommend downloading my free texture pack for this tutorial. This will make it quicker to get our game functioning. The link will be in the description. To begin making our game, we first need a level or world. We can do this by creating what's called a scene. A scene in Godot is a file that contains nodes, which are organized inside a tree, as shown here. Scenes are used for more than just levels. They are used to make complicated objects that contain multiple nodes to function, including the player, which likely contains a node that has physics applied to it, a node that displays an image, and a node that contains the collision shape of the player. When you first create your project, you start in an empty, unsaved scene. Here, it asks you whether you want the root of the tree to be a 2D node, 3D node, or a control node. Pick 2D node. Now, save the scene. This can be our level. Name it anything you want. If we accidentally close it, we can open it back up inside the file system. Drag this picture over into the viewport. Now, play the game. We didn't select a scene for the game to start up in yet. Let's go ahead and select our level that we made. When you start the game for the first time, it may take a minute to load. There we go. Now we can see our picture. These buttons here are mainly for debugging. Let's go ahead and close this and get started into actually making our game. Quick note about the viewport controls. Middle mouse button moves the view around and scroll wheel zooms in and out. If you downloaded my texture pack, go ahead and drag it into the file system. This will duplicate it into our project folder. As you can see, the textures are very small. This is because the game size and the project settings needs to be smaller. Go ahead and open the project settings. Click on Window under the Display category. Enable Advanced Settings. Set viewport width to 384 and height to 216. Then set window width to 1280 and height to 720. Also, set stretch mode to canvas items. You may not see anything when you run the game. This is because the small blue square in the viewport has moved. We need to move objects inside it because this square is actually the game's view. This won't matter when we add a camera into our level scene. Now, go ahead and delete these Sprite 2Ds, and we will make a player object instead. We need a node that has player-like physics, so our player can move, jump, and collide with other objects. Right-click on the root node in the scene tree. After that, click Add Child. Search for Character Body 2D. Double-click it, or press Create after selecting it. Now, do the same thing, but instead right-click the Character Body 2D node and add a Sprite 2D node. Go ahead and add a texture to the Sprite 2D node by dragging one of the player type images from the file system into the texture slot in the inspector on the right. You may notice that the texture is blurry. This is because the texture has a filter on it. We need to go into project settings and fix that. Search for textures, then change default texture filter to nearest. Let's go ahead and make the Sprite 2D show only one frame of the animation in the image. Go over to the inspector while the Sprite 2D node is selected, and enable region. Then press Edit Region. It is recommended to change the snap mode to Grid Snap. After that, make the square surround one of the frames in the image. Once you're done, just press Close. Now, we need a collision shape 2D so our player can collide with objects, including the floor. Just add a child to the character body 2D and search for collision shape 2D. After you add it, go into the inspector and select the capsule shape in the shape slot. Now, just resize it. If you want to quickly move something you have selected, just hold the Alt key on your keyboard. Then you'll be able to drag the arrows to move it. Let's rename the character body 2D node to Player. After that, we can add a script. Godot has some templates for specific nodes. We will use one to make the movement of the player. If you would rather have it in a folder, go ahead and create one, and then save it inside it. If you want to learn more about coding, I will soon have a video just for that, if not already have one. This code may seem overwhelming, but we don't have to worry about this at the moment. We can play the game and see what happens now. As expected, our player has no platform to stand on, so he just falls. It's an easy fix, but first, we should save our player as a separate scene. This will allow us to place it in any scene, and any changes to the player's scene will take effect to all scenes that has it. Just right-click the player, also known as the character body 2D, and click on Save Branches Scene. Go ahead and move the player by holding Alt, then holding down left click, then moving your mouse. We can make a floor by creating a static body 2D. As the name suggests, it usually doesn't move. It can still be used to make moving platforms, however. Make sure to add it to the root node and not the player. Otherwise, we won't get the results we were hoping. After that, add a sprite 2D and add a texture to it. Then, we can also add a collision shape 2D with a box shape. Make sure to size the box to the texture. If you hold Alt while resizing, it will scale from the center. After that, go ahead and select the static body 2D in the scene tree. Then hold Alt and then move the static body 2D to where you want. I'm going to use it as a floor. Use the arrow keys to move around. You may notice it is way too fast. Let's change that. Switch over to the script tab and look inside the player.gd script and change the speed variable to a lower value. When you press spacebar to jump, he jumps way too high. Let's go ahead and change that in the script tab as well. We can build levels with static bodies, but the easier way is to use a tile map, which in a way allows us to paint our level. Go ahead and delete the static body in the scene tree. Now, add a tile map layer node to the root node. Normal tile maps are deprecated, so don't use those. Make a tile set inside the tile set slot in the inspector while the tile map layer is selected. Tile sets allow us to make placeable tiles for our level, including the collisions. Drag and drop the tile set texture into the tile sources box. A menu will pop up asking if you want to automatically create tiles in the alias. Click yes. This will set up the texture to separate each 16 by 16 square inside the texture into a tile. Now, we need to create some collisions for these tiles, so our player can collide with them. Click on the tile set we just created in the inspector. Open physics layers, and then press add element. These settings may look confusing, but we don't need to worry about them right now. Now, click the paint button under tile sets. Then select the property editor, and click physics layer 0. This new menu shows what the collision shape looks like, and allows us to design almost any shape. When we hold left click across the tiles, it will paint this collision shape on them. For more complex shapes, we need to design it, and to make it easier, select Grid Snap. Then adjust the dots. After you are done, just paint the new shape on the tiles you want to have it. For collisions that are not square, you may need to use the tools above the dots, which allows you to add, edit, and remove dots. There needs to be at least 3 dots to have a shape. The add tool usually tries to add another collision shape and not just one point. So if you want just another point, left click on the side of one of the collision shapes. Yes, with the add tool, you can have multiple shapes inside one tile. Now you can open the tile map menu at the bottom, select a tile, and start drawing your level. forgot to do this while I was recording, but here is how to duplicate the tile map layers properly. Save the tile set in the inspector. After that, create a new tile map layer node inside the root node. Now, drag and drop the tileset file into the tileset slot in the inspector. Because we just saved the tileset, we can create as many tile maps as we want, and we can just drag and drop the file. If you want the tile map to show above the player, make sure the tile map node is either underneath the player or its z-index is higher than the player's. The z-index is located under the Ordering tab in the inspector when selected on a node. I hope you learned something new. If you are wanting more, let me know in the comments or simply by liking the video. I want this video to maybe give you a basic understanding on how the editor works. There is still plenty more to know about, including signals, inputs, scripting, animations, groups, and so on. I have some extra textures in the texture pack that should help you if you decide to watch more videos and learn to add some more stuff to this game. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video.